Review of Wolfenstein The New Order, a first-person shooter that is very much a old-school first-person shooter feel brought to the modern age. Now, at first glance, when I actually saw a preview to this game, I actually thought the game looked, good. I read a couple of reviews on it at first before I was really intent on buying it, because I was kind of intent on buying it, but however, Watch Dogs basically came out the week afterwards, so it's kind of like, I'm not too sure. Although I need a game to basically cover me over until Watch Dogs comes out, and I've heard really good things about Wolfenstein The New Order, and I was like, you know what? I like the game for the original Super Nintendo. The one for the Xbox, the original Xbox, I did kind of like, but did get frustrating at times because enemies in that one basically could get very good hits. But, after that, there was one other Wolfenstein game before this new one, which was just called Wolfenstein. I believe you played a little bit of that one. It was for the Xbox 360. But I have to say, the new one, Wolfenstein, the New Order, throwback to how old school first person shooters were back in the days. And it definitely does have like an old school feel, but it's very modern. It's a very modern game, but it has an old school feel to it. And I think pretty much anybody that really likes good campaigns could pick up Wolfenstein and have a blast with it. Now, that's not to say there aren't frustrating stuff about the game, because, heaven behold, there are a couple frustrating things here and there.
The laser gun.
Like, for starters, the enemies at times could sneak up behind you and basically shoot at you from behind, and you basically have to take care of the enemy up front and then take care of the enemy behind. And then there, at times, I think, when you go against like big robot, monsters in the game, I think there's a little bit short supply of ammo here and there.
Sometimes they force you to use that stupid laser gun sometimes in the game.
The laser gun is good,
Yeah.
but you just have to know how to use it right, and it does get irritating here and there. Probably my one complaint about the game in general, and I know you know exactly what I'm going to say, it's whoever designed that freaking bridge, I swear to God, had to basically think, okay, you know what would be the most frustrating thing we could do for a gamer that basically is having a blast up to this point? Oh, I have an idea. Let's make a level where basically after you take out one wave of enemies, a whole bunch more descends on you, and you can't even run past them. But, other than that, I think the game is totally a blast. I like the fact that they fully focused on the campaign mode versus having multiplayer in the game. And I know some people basically may say, well, multiplayer would have fit Wolfenstein really good. Yeah, it probably would have, and, sure, you could probably add some DLC multiplayer later on, but I like the fact that you fully focus on the campaign. I like the fact that you play as a badass by the name of BJ Blazkowicz. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, but however, I like the fact that you play as this badass. I like the fact that there are moments in the game where basically they're like, oh, come on, just let me do this one thing and I'll be just greatly pleased. And they deliver on it. I mean, heaven behold, I remember you basically were talking with me on Skype when I was playing Wolfenstein, and basically you were watching me play it live on my PlayStation 4. I was like, oh, dude, do I get to climb up in this robot? Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man! Fuck yeah! I'm just freaking rejoicing because I'm laying to waste to a bunch of Nazis. I mean, it's just like moments like that in the game where it just totally shines, where you're just like, oh, thank you for delivering here. I do have to say, at times the game does feel a little restrained here and there because there are cutscenes where they kind of interpret stuff, but then they cut away because of the fact they're like, we probably can't get away with showing too much of this here because we might get in big trouble.
Or it's either that or they censored out some things in the game that we don't know about. Because they do that sometimes in video games.
I know, but it's... I mean, the chainsaw part, I have to say, they did, cut away at that, and that was one of those things that I was really disappointed. I mean, at least, give the gamer the option, like some Call of Duties you can play. At least give us the option to be able to see what happened. I mean, we all know what happened, but still, it would have been badass if we actually got to play and actually got to wield that chainsaw to that Nazi asshole. But overall, I have to say, I'm really impressed with the game. The game definitely is, a very good first-person shooter for the PlayStation 4. And counting in once on the normal mode, and then I played it once on easy, and then I basically went over again on Uber. And I have to say, Uber, while being hard at parts, I found the easier parts a lot more harder, and the harder parts a lot more easier. I don't even know how that happened because I was completely surprised I was able to kill the final boss in the game within one go. I mean, not the part where you have to shoot down the blimps, but the part where basically you fight him underground and then you have to, shoot him with the grenade launcher.
I had the most difficult.
Shoot him with the laser, whatever you have. I was very much surprised I was able to beat that guy in one go because I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to so get my ass kicked down here. And then, I was able to beat him. I think it's mostly because of the fact that I was shooting him within the head area that I was able to beat him so fast. But, I basically tossed that off as me getting a little bit lucky. And overall, I would love to see a sequel to Wolfenstein The New Order because the fact that the game does leave it somewhat open with its ending. And even if you don't continue as the main character in this game, I would love to continue as maybe some of the other characters or a new character altogether. But, however, when all is said and done, I had a blast with this game. And for me, personally, I would give it a solid 9.5 out of 10.
And I'm going to give it... Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on that score. That sounds like a reasonable score. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
What do you think of it?
Well, I had some problems with the game a little bit. I didn't like the laser gun. That really pissed me off. That guy. That's the only gun I didn't like in the game. I like the silencers. I like the machine guns. I like the rocket launchers. I like the entire game. I mean, I thought the story.
It started off as just BJ basically going to kill this guy, and then basically you have to choose between Fergus and White, and who's going to get experimented on. And then after that, it becomes a straightforward revenge story.
I think the story in this game was even better than Inglourious Basterds. Because I thought, with Inglourious Basterds, it was a good movie, but they didn't give you a reason to hate the Nazis. In this game, you won't really hate the Nazis. They give you a reason.
Well, I really think Inglourious Basterds, like you said, is a good movie. Yeah. And I actually... would probably say I like Inglourious Basterds a little bit more than I, like this game. But however, I'm not going to compare a game to a movie 100% unless it's an adaptation.
I'm just saying they both got
all Nazis and killed them.
Yeah, and the Nazi technology with the robot dogs, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
How they came up with all those ideas in the game.
That you can't, take away the team for creativity because they had a lot of really good creativity.
The moon level was so much fun, and I think the moon level in this game, personally, I thought it topped the Call of Duty game. Because I think
actually, I know we may get a little bit disliked for this, but I enjoyed this more than any Call of Duty game. it was just flat out fun. It was very much a return to old school
Yeah.
first person shooters with a modern feel to it.
What?
I mean, you could carry like a whole bunch of guns with you, and you could just
Mhm.
basically switch behind, which gun you want to choose from. Now, I do
Yeah.
admit, trying to select your gun does get a little bit frustrating at times because of like when you're moving it and basically try to pick the gun, sometimes you don't get the gun that you actually are trying to aim for because your analog stick basically goes to like the run next to it or the run above it. I mean, it does get a little bit repetitive, but however, overall, it's a
I
really good
I,
game.
I think Call of Duty was good, like Modern Warfare 2, but like after that it got a little repetitive. Were this
Well, they most focus on multiplayer
yeah,
than like the actual storyline. I mean,
yeah.
I think probably the one Call of Duty game I really liked was actually the first Modern Warfare and Black Ops. Those were like the two I really liked, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Wolfenstein. I cannot
Yeah.
basically put that out there enough. Wolfenstein was just such a phenomenal game, and I hope to God that when
9.5, you're giving it a 9.5, and we're gonna say check it out.
yeah, definitely check it out. At least rent it. I mean, if you're still a little bit hesitant on it because of the price, I mean, it is a a $60 game.
Yeah.
But however, it is worth it if you're a fan of like old school
But
first person shooter games.
spiderjackangel saying that it took him 15 hours. It took me about 30. Depends on how like fast you're playing the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it took me probably. I would probably say 15.
Yeah.
I mean, I did take breaks here and there, but
Yeah.
however, there were parts in the game that were very stress worthy. I mean, the bridge being one of them. The level beforehand, well, the last big siege in the main bad guy's compound. I think that was a little bit stress worthy because the fact that you had to attack the enemy while also covering like multiple areas where the enemy could come up from behind you, in front of you, all right and left. I mean, that was kind of frustrating, even on Uber mode.
I just love how this game is so story driven, and I love the flashback scenes and just how they put the game together. I mean,
yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
said, this is a really good game. I mean, I know you were a big fan of Duke Nukem, and you basically kind of, didn't like my opinion on Duke Nukem
Yeah.
because you liked Duke Nukem because the fact that it had kind of like an old school type feel to it.
Yeah.
This one to me, basically has an old school type feel to it. Plus, it's a great game.
Yeah, well, and it's like modernized old school,
Yeah, very modernized.
which is cool because like they're making it fresh, but they're also making it new. I mean,
Yeah,
they're making
exactly.
it. Yeah,
And plus, let's not forget, if anybody
Yeah.
that likes the old Wolfenstein game, there are Easter eggs of that in this game.
yeah,
Like when you go up on and sleep in the bed at the top of the little secret base that you have in the game,
yeah.
you can go to sleep and play like the old Wolfenstein game.
I wish they gave you a little bit more chances to play it when you went to sleep, but I enjoyed that. I just wish,
Yeah, it very much was an old, good throwback, and
Yeah.
very much appreciate the fact that basically put that in there.
I hope they do that again in like the next game and have like another.
Oh, I'll fully buy a sequel to Wolfenstein
Yeah.
The New Order.
Me too. I'm gonna say if the sequel comes out, I am buying it day one. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, so 9.5 for me, 9.5 for Spider Jack Angel, and have a great night, everyone.
Yep.